Hello and welcome back to Toy Story 3. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we'll be taking on the second level.
I'd like to hear the part about the train rescue again. It's up to you, though.
So this is Andy's house, or as the game calls it, Hold the Phone. I like the whole board game aesthetic. It's a really good way of keeping everything in a sort of theme.
Cell phone. Then, when we call it,
he will find us with the phone and play with us one last time. I like it, cowboy.
Yeehaw! Let's do this.
So let's actually explore, shall we? And yeah, we can switch between the characters as you just saw there, which I did by accident, trying to do something else. But first of all, before we actually start climbing, we have some exploring to do on the ground floor. First of all, let's head under this bed to find our character for this level, our little townsperson, the Jessie one. Got Woody in the last level, this level we get Jessie. And of course a card through here, behind the little box. And here I'm going to show something off that is an interesting mechanic, and certainly we could actually use it to skip this entire section of the level. Because that hook kind of thing up there is something Woody can interact with, but we won't be doing that until a bit later, because it will skip a large amount of collectibles in this level. But I'm going to show you a mechanic that will get us over there though, so we can at least see how the game works. You see, characters can throw each other, but because Buzz is much harder because he's made of plastic, he can throw much further than the others can, because they were made of cloth, so you have thick little cloth muscles. So if you want to throw someone, you choose Buzz. So here we could use a special move to grapple onto that, and get all the way up to the phone immediately. But again, that would skip most of this room. And there's still quite a lot to find here. Like the little laptop and everything like that. It's an interesting little way of bringing things into the modern age for the third movie, with like Andy getting his own computer, that kind of stuff. It's like... And there's a fairly deviously hidden card in the trash can. And a little bit of invisible wall, messy. The boundary box got a little confused there. But here, if we slam into this box, we unlock a new card and a shortcut to get back up again. So we don't need to go around the entire desk section again. As you can see, that window would have actually pushed us off. Cheeky. I think you get an idea of Andy's interests at this point in his life, like developing an interest in vehicles and sports and things, and of course the massive map as well, so obviously is into geography. Little things like that, little characterization things for a character who's barely a character in this series, more of a plot device than anything else. Well, he was a plot device really in the earlier movies. In the third movie he actually really comes into his own and actually has kind of an arc that he kind of lacked in the early movies, in my opinion. In the first movies he was just kind of the kid that owned them.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
So here we go, there's the trick to get over there. And it also opens a small shortcut. Annoyingly, it's a very small shortcut because this is not something you can grab, which is annoying. I'm switching to Jessie here because, much like Woody's drawstring, which is unique to him, Jessie has something unique to her that we need to get across here. Precision platforming for her. She can just land immediately on any particularly narrow ledge like that. Anything small, round and pointy she can land on like that. And yeah, here we could also, that's me showing off where Woody would land.
Great,
And
we
then we
got
just
the
grab
cell
the phone.
phone. Now we just need to call it from the home phone.
Rex is still MIA.
And hasn't brought back the cordless phone.
We better see what's keeping him. Come on.
here we are in the basement.
There's the cordless phone. But how are we going to get it down?
Sir, I believe we can help. My men are deployed throughout the room, but tied up at the moment. If you can free them, they'll get that phone down safely. Guaranteed.
Thanks, Sarge.
Of course, as usual, we have a few things to explore in this room.
Ready when
The
you
thing I
are.
like about this level compared to the first level is the first level gets you into the story by giving you a lot of like forward momentum, a lot of push forward, save the children in the train kind of a thing. This level is much more expansive, much more of an actual tutorial for the main controls of the actual characters, because amusingly enough, they are actually more effective in these levels than they are in the imagination levels, because of stuff like Woody's drawstring that otherwise they would not have in the situations where they're real people, in air quotes. But we actually need to get somewhere that's fairly tricky to get to if you don't know the knack. We're going to have to go all the way up here, because we may have noticed the ironing board and guessed there may be something on there, which there is. But we can't get there from down there, so let's fly. Or fall with style. I quite like those little moments where you get to do that kind of stuff, a little slightly more elaborate platforming things than the usual. It's an interesting visual thing, it's fun to do, even if it does come down to basically rail grinding for most of it. And it does work in quite nicely, the whole Toy Story aesthetic of falling with style versus, you know, flying and doing actual like stunts and stuff. So here we have a little tutorial-ish thing where we have to throw the paratroopers to the phones. Of course, dodging through all these clothings on the way. Clotheslines, I was very, very robotic there. But yeah, here as you can see, you can use the shadow to easily land, and that's fine. I do quite like this level, gives you a lot of visual stuff to platform on, and a lot of... it's a very vertical level compared to Woody's Roundup, which is a very... by which I mean the first level, which is a very kind of horizontal, pushing you forward constantly kind of a level. It's an interesting contrast. So of course, the first level is getting you used to the combat. This level is getting you used to the platforming. So of course, it's more horizontal, this is more vertical with the way that works. This one can be a little tricky because if you're a little bit off, that guy can accidentally snag on that red cord and mean you're not unable to get through here.
Yeah!
There's also quite a few collectibles that are kind of mean to find, which we're going to be finding shortly. Once we've knocked down a fairly expansive shortcut here. Expansive? A large shortcut. Before we get up there though... Nope, can't make it that way, so we'll need to go for something a little different. That was a camp motion, Woody. And again, they are very floppy. Look what I don't know, Woody has a lot more like floppy, look at me, I'm made of cloth kind of motions, while Jessie's a lot more, despite the fact that she's the same kind of doll, she has much more kind of emphatic motions, much more solid motions, which is a neat kind of visual way of distinguishing between the characters. Reminding you how they work. Woody throws himself around like a ragdoll, while Jessie flings herself more deliberately and lands in much more solid ways. But first of all, before we actually get this guy to where he needs to be, there's a card that we can't reach ourselves. So we need to be a little bit cheeky. Because you see, any character that we're controlling counts as a playable character. Any playable character can touch these cards.
Come on! Land as close as you can to that...
It's not immediately obvious you can do that. I spent so long trying to find a way to platform up there, but there is none.
Yes!
You have to throw this guy over there. And that's actually a little bit of foreshadowing for mechanic later on, where sometimes these guys will have alternate places you can throw them. That of course mostly appears outside the story, but it's something to bear in mind when you get to the throw the soldiers, because of course you're not going to use a mechanic only to use it for this one level. That would be a bit of a waste of programming, wouldn't it? So let's finish this, shall we?
Yes!
This one can be a bit tricky as well, because it's very, very roundabout, and it's very easy for this to be the first one you get to, because of the way the platforming's set up.
I made it!
There we go.
Good work. get that phone to Andy's room. We'll find Rex and catch up with you there.
Yes, sir. You heard him, men. Move, move, move!
Around here somewhere, Zerg.
Rex, you were supposed to get the phone and come right back.
No!
The Buzz Lightyear game.
We haven't played this in years.
Yeah, I made it to the Gamma Quadrant. I'm almost to Zerg's fortress.
Guys, come on. We need to get back.
Rex, we know you can defeat him. Just do it quickly.
I just love Buzz's vanity there, that's pretty great. But yeah, now we've unlocked the Buzz video game. But we'll do that level later. For now,
a war scene.
let's explore Al's toy barn, shall we? Yeah, the characters have things to say about everything about the actual board, but we'll explore that later. For now, I'm going to show you where the collectibles end up. This is the toy shelf, first of all, which is where all the cards and all the associated things go. So here, we've actually unlocked this card set for Woody's Roundup. And these are the other card sets, so we can get all of the things in that we haven't got any of them yet for. Of course, the special cards are for concept art. The UFO guns are stuff we haven't got yet. That's something we haven't seen yet, and it all actually gets crammed into one level. It's fairly strange, that one, but that's fine. So this is the card set we've unlocked all of for now. The Woody's Roundup card set. The main problem I have with this game's collectibles is it shows you what they are before you even get them. They're just kind of in black and white, which makes things a little bit more boring because you know exactly what you're going to get and exactly what it's going to look like. You don't really get much of a feeling of discovery. But I quite like these cards, they're fairly cute, and they have nice little pictures and everything. And considering Woody's Roundups, from the movies at least, from what we saw of them, it was very kind of low budget. These kind of little cardboard cutouts of the characters fit quite nicely. That's that shelf. We'll see the figure collection later, but for now, as you can see, we've only got a few of them. So these mystery eggs are a bit of a pain, but they are actually completely optional. The gold coins you get in the levels only get you these little optional things for the Woody's Roundup characters to wear, and they are completely there's nothing about Woody's Roundup that makes you get any of these in Toy Box mode. It's completely ancillary to the entire rest of the game. There's not even an achievement tied to them. And as you can guess, you don't really get that many coins, so you end up having to grind them, because of course after a while you start getting blank capsules, and that's just annoying. But next time we'll be seeing the Buzz video game, and with that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
The cannon's not gonna wake anyone up, is it?